Hello students. So today we'll continue our NCERT chapter 7, that is alcohol, phenols and ethers. And today is a theory part 3. So this is the disclaimer. So what is the objective of today's lecture? So after attending this lecture, you'll be able to understand the topics which we are going to cover today. So the topics which we'll cover today, they are understanding the structure, bond length and bond angle for alcohol, phenols and ethers. So we will understand how the structures of alcohol, phenols and ethers look like, and we will see about their bond length, and we will also discuss about the bond angle for these three compounds. Now for a reference, I have mapped the NCERT sections that we will cover today. So today we'll be covering section 7.3, that is structures of functional groups. And we are going to solve some questions. So we will solve NCERT exercise question 7.2, NCERT exemplar question 2 and NCERT exemplar question 12. So let's begin with today's lecture. So in today's lecture, a prime focus will be that we will see the bond angle for the alcohol, phenols and ethers. Now after the nomenclature, you know that how these structures look like. So today we will compare their bond angles and we will see that why these bond angles vary for alcohol, phenols and ethers. What is the reason behind that their bond angles are different? So we will begin with the structure and bonding of an alcohol. So for understanding the structure and bonding of alcohol, we will take the simplest alcohol. So we will take the example of methanol. See the methanol, here OL is there. So this is an alcohol. So it is the simplest and the most common alcohols. So see, this is the structure of methanol. So you can see that oxygen, here it is bonded to a methyl group and here it is bonded to a hydrogen. Now if I ask you what is the hybridization of this oxygen, how will you tell me? So what is the formula for calculating the hybridization? For hybridization, we add the lone pairs and the bond pairs. Now if you see, oxygen has two bond pairs, one with carbon and one with hydrogen. And you can see oxygen has two bond pairs and two lone pairs. Because the total valence electrons on oxygen is 6. So it has formed one bond with carbon and one with hydrogen, and it has two lone pairs. So the hybridization will be 2 and 2. 2 bond pairs and 2 lone pairs. So 2 plus 2 is 4. So if the hybridization is 4, we say it is sp3 hybridized. So that means the hybridization of oxygen is sp3 hybridized. So if the hybridization of this oxygen is sp3 hybridized, then the bond angle should be sp3 bond angle, whatever is the bond angle of sp3. Now since we know that the bond angle of sp3 is 109, it is 109.5 degree. So my question is that if this oxygen is sp3 hybridized, so the bond angle should be 109.5 degree. But why this bond angle is less than 109.5 degree? You can see the bond angle is 108.9 degree. So let us understand the reason that why this bond angle is less than this tetrahedral angle. So you can see there are two lone pairs on this oxygen. This oxygen has two lone pairs. Now look at the cursor on the screen. If this oxygen has two lone pairs, these two lone pairs will repel among themselves. Now if these two lone pair will repel among themselves, they'll try to move apart from each other. So now when these two lone pairs, they will try to move apart from each other, look at the cursor, this lone pair will try to move this side and this lone pair will try to move this side. So when they will move apart from each other, they will push this bond pair inside. So when they will push this bond pair inside, the bond angle of COH decreases. So it comes to 108.9 degree. So the reason that why this bond angle is less is because of lone pair repulsion. So you must have studied in chemical bonding that lone pair repulsion is maximum, then comes the lone pair bond pair repulsion, and then comes the bond pair repulsion. So in this case, both these lone pair will repel, so they will push this bond inside. So the bond angle will be 108.9 degree. So this is the reason that why this bond angle is slightly less than tetrahedral angle, that is 109.5 degree. Now look at the hybridization of this carbon. This carbon is sp3 hybridized because it is connected to 4 atoms. So it is sp3 hybridized. Now when I talk about carbon-oxygen bond length, that is when the bond between them is a single bond. So in the example of this methanol, the bond length of this carbon-oxygen bond will be 142 picometer, which is usually the bond length of carbon-oxygen single bond. So this bond length is 142 picometer. And when we talk about the oxygen and hydrogen bond length, then this bond length is 96 picometer. You do not need to mug up these values. You must understand the logic behind these values. Okay, you should understand and you should know that why this bond angle is less. Okay, so no need to mug up these values, just understand the logic behind this. So this was the structure and bonding in methanol, that the bond angle slightly decreases because of lone pair repulsion. Now let us see the bond angle in case of phenol. Now we know how a phenols look like. So we know in case of phenol, the hydrogen of this carbon is replaced by a hydroxyl group, that is a OH group. So in case of phenol, the OH group is directly attached to a benzene ring. Now if we talk about this carbon, oxygen and hydrogen bond angle, then you can see that this bond angle is 109 degree. First, let's see the hybridization of this oxygen. Now again we will calculate the hybridization by adding the bond pairs and lone pairs. So there are 2 bond pairs. See, this is one and this is another. So 2 bond pairs and 2 lone pairs. So 2 plus 2, 4. So if hybridization is 4, we say it is sp3 hybridized. So this oxygen is also sp3 hybridized. So if it is sp3 hybridized, then the bond angle should be 109.5 degree. But we see this bond angle is slightly less. It is 109 degree. So the reason behind that this bond angle is slightly less, because see, this oxygen also has 2 lone pairs. So this lone pairs will also repel among themselves. Now in case of alcohol, this oxygen from one side was bonded with a methyl group. But in case of phenol, see, this is a phenyl group. So this phenyl group is so large. And it also has delocalized pi electrons. In the case of phenyl ring, we know that there are delocalized pi electrons because of resonance. So this phenyl group will also repel with this hydrogen because this is a very bulky group. So in this case, bond pair repulsion is also there and lone pair repulsion is also there. So both the repulsions are there in this cases. So in this case, the bond angle will be 109 degree, which is slightly less than what it is for tetrahedral. Now, if I talk about this carbon, okay, the carbon of your aromatic ring. Now, what is the hybridization of this carbon over here? So, how we will calculate? By adding lone pairs and bond pairs. So, there are no lone pairs on this carbon. So, we will add bond pairs. So, there are 3 bond pairs. So, if the hybridization is 3, we say it is sp2 hybridized. So, this carbon over here is sp2 hybridized. So, if we talk about carbon-oxygen bond length, this is a single bond between carbon and oxygen. So, when we talk, the bond length is 136 picometer. But in case of methanol, we see, and I told you that the bond length between carbon-oxygen single bond should be 142 picometer. But why this bond length is less in this case, in the case of phenol? Then let's discuss the reason that why this bond length is less in the case of phenol. So when we talk about the phenol, we know that on oxygen, the electron density on oxygen is not constant. Okay, because these lone pairs, the lone pairs which are present on this oxygen, the oxygen donates its lone pair to this ring. So the electron density is not constant. You can just understand by simple example that if this oxygen has some money, which is in the form of lone pair, then the money on this oxygen is not constant. It is sharing its money with this phenyl ring. So when it is sharing its lone pair with this phenyl ring, we know that in case of phenol, there is resonance because of delocalized electrons, delocalized pi electrons. So if there is resonance in case of phenol, there will be resonating structures. So if there will be resonating structures, then this carbon oxygen, it will develop a partial double bond character. Okay, because of the resonance and because this electron density on this oxygen is not constant, because it has delocalized electrons over here. Now, since it has delocalized pi electrons, it will participate in this resonance. So that is why this carbon oxygen will develop a partial double bond character. Now, because it develops a double bond, so the bond length is slightly less, because we know that the bond length for carbon for a double bond is less as compared to single bond. So the bond length for this carbon-oxygen bond will be 136 picometer because of the partial double bond character. So this bond will be short and strong also, because double bond are strong as compared to single bond. So this carbon-oxygen bond will be strong. So this was the main reason that why there is decrease in this bond length. Okay, so now you know for phenol, this oxygen is sp3 hybridized, and because of lone pair and bond pair repulsion is also there because of this larger phenyl group and its delocalized pi electrons. So the bond angle is 109 degree. And if I talk about this carbon-oxygen bond length, then it is 136 picometer because there is a partial double bond character between this carbon-oxygen bond. Now let us discuss the case of the ether. So for understanding the case of ether, we will take one of the simplest ether, and that is methoxymethane. Remember how we name ether? IUPAC naming, we do it like alkoxy-alkane. So alkane, we select the longest carbon chain. But in this case, both sides there is methyl. So there is only one carbon atom. So this is methane, which is the parent chain, and the group which is attached with oxygen is called as methoxy. So this is methoxymethane. And this is one of the simplest ethers. So see, this is the structure of methoxymethane. Now when we talk about methoxymethane, so what is the hybridization of oxygen here? Again, it has 2 bond pairs and 2 lone pairs. So 2 plus 2, 4. So if hybridization is 4, this oxygen will be sp3 hybridized. So the oxygen atom is sp3 hybridized. But look at the angle between carbon oxygen and carbon. Now, because it is sp3 hybridized, the bond angle should be accordingly 109.5 degree. But here you can see there is increase in bond angle. The bond angle of carbon, oxygen and carbon is 111.7 degree. So why is the bond angle more in this case? In case of alcohol, we saw that the bond angle was less. So we told there is lone pair repulsion. In phenol, it was slightly less than the tetrahedron. But we are saying in the case of ether, the bond angle is more. Now let us see the reason why this bond angle is more. So this is because of the steric repulsion. Now see, in this case, this oxygen is attached to methyl group. Here also there is methyl group and here also there is methyl group. So because these are two very great bulky groups, this side methyl and this side methyl, because these are bulky groups, so they will repel among themselves. Because two bulky groups will never stay close to each other. They will repel each other. So when they will repel each other, they will try to move outwards. So when they will try to move outwards, you will see that the bond angle is increasing in this case and it is 111.7 degree. In this case, the bond pair repulsion is more. Why? Because these methyl groups are two bulky groups and there is steric repulsion between these two methyl groups. And because of that steric repulsion, they will try to move away from each other. And when they will move away from each other, their bond angle will increase and it will be 111.7 degree. So I hope now it is clear that why in case of methoxymethane, your bond angle is more than the ideal tetrahedral angle, that is 109.5 degree. Now let us see this carbon-oxygen bond length, which is a single bond. So see, it is 141 picometer only, as it was in the case of alcohol. Because here no ring is involved, so there is no resonance or no resonating structures. So the electron density on this oxygen is localized. It is not delocalized. So this will have bond length as 141 picometer. So see, the bond length of this carbon-oxygen bond length is 141 picometer. So we discussed that why for alcohol, phenols and ethers there are different bond lengths because of the different regions. Now we will compare the carbon-oxygen bond length in phenol and ethanol. So when we are talking about carbon-oxygen bond length in ethanol, it is 1.42 Armstrong. And when we are talking about carbon-oxygen bond length in phenol, it is 1.36 Armstrong. So phenol has shorter CO bond length. So as we discussed in the case of phenol, I told you the reason about this. So when you compare the bond length of ethanol and phenol, we will see that the bond length of carbon-oxygen bond length in phenol is shorter. That is 1.36 Armstrong. This is because of the resonance with the benzene ring. We know that the electron density on oxygen is delocalized in case of phenol. So it will share low electrons with the benzene ring. So when it will share, it will take part in the resonance and it will have resonating structures. So because of that, a partial double bond character develops between carbon and oxygen bond. And because of that partial double bond character, since double bond is more strong than the single bond and bond length is also less. So that is why your bond length in phenol is 1.36 Armstrong. Okay, and in case of ethanol, we will see it is a simple straight hydrocarbon chain. There is no branching or there is no phenol or any ring is involved. So there will be no resonating structures. Okay, but as we discussed in case of phenol, there is resonance, there is partial double bond character, and there is greater electron delocalization because the electron density on oxygen is not localized. So because of these three reasons, we will see that your carbon-oxygen bond length in phenol is less as compared to the carbon-oxygen bond length in ethanol. So I hope now it is clear to you. Okay. So now we will discuss some questions. So first we will solve NCERT exercise question 7.2. So in this question you can see there are 10 parts and names are given to you. Now you have to write the structures of the compound whose IUPAC names are given. Yesterday what we saw in the table, the structures were given, and from that structures we saw the naming. But here the name is given, you have to write the structures according to the IUPAC names. So I'll give you some time to solve this question. You solve and then we will discuss this question. Okay, so let's one by one see that what will be the structures of these IUPAC names. So let us start with the first structure. First name, that is 2-methyl-butane-2-ol. So whenever you have to draw the chemical structure for the IUPAC name, you have to follow certain set of rules. So first let's discuss these rules and then we will see how we will draw these structures. So the first step is that you need to identify the parent chain. So first in your compound, you have to see the longest carbon chain. So whatever will be longest carbon chain, that will be your parent chain. Or it can be a ring structure also. Next is that you have to locate the functional groups. Like in case of alcohols, there is hydroxyl group. For ethers, there is oxygen, and there can be aryl or alkyl groups. So you need to locate those functional groups in your structures. And you had to add substituents in the correct position. Whatever the substituents that are attached to your structure, that needs to be written in the correct position. So we follow it according to the alphabetical order. Okay, according to alphabetical order, whichever letter comes first, while we write the IUPAC names, we write the name of that particular substituent first. And you have to fulfill the bonding requirement with the remaining hydrogen atoms. So now let's discuss the structures which is based on these guidelines. So first we have 2-methyl-butane-2-ol. Now we will see, let's look at this structure. Look at this first name. Here there is butane. So if there is butane, then there must be 4 carbon atoms. Because if there are 4 carbon atoms, then the root word is butane. Okay, so that means your longest carbon chain should have 4 carbon atoms. So see, this is my longest carbon chain and this has 4 carbon atoms. Now here it is 2-methyl. That means on second carbon a methyl group is attached. So look in the structure, this is a second carbon and to this carbon a methyl group is attached. And it is butane-2-ol. That means OL, that means a hydroxyl group is there. Now to locate the position of the hydroxyl group, here it is written 2-ol. That means on second carbon, the hydroxyl group is present. So that means your 4 carbon atoms will be a longest carbon chain, and on second carbon there will be a methyl group as well as a hydroxyl group. So this will be your structure for 2-methyl butane 2-ol. So see how we followed these steps and we decoded the particular structure for this 2-methyl butane 2-ol. Similarly, we will follow the order in rest of the cases. Now look at the second one. Second one, we have 1-phenyl propane 2-ol. So here comes the propane. So propane means that your longest carbon chain must have 3 carbon atoms. Okay. And on first carbon, a phenyl group is attached. And on second carbon, a hydroxyl group is attached. That is why it is 2-ol. So let's see the structure. So 3 carbon straight chain because there is propane. So 3 carbon atoms will be your parent chain, and the OH group is attached at the second carbon and a phenyl group is attached at the first carbon. So this is the structure. Okay, see, OH is attached to the second carbon and phenyl group is attached to the first carbon. So this is 1-phenyl propane 2-ol. Let's see the next one. It is 3,5 dimethyl hexane 1,3,5 triol. So first see the longest carbon chain. It is hexane. That means the longest carbon chain must have 6 carbon atoms. That will be your parent chain. And on third and fifth position, methyl is attached, dimethyl. So that means in this particular compound, 2-methyl is attached, one on third position and one on fifth position. And 1,3,5 triol. Tri, it is indicating that 3 hydroxyl groups are attached. And this is indicating the position of hydroxyl group. That is, one hydroxyl group is on first position, another one is on third, and another one is on fifth. So see, this is a structure. So see, the longest carbon chain has 6 carbon atoms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And on third and fifth, there is 2-methyl group. So this is third, there is 1 methyl group, and on fifth, there is 1 methyl group. And there are 3 hydroxyl group. First, on first carbon atom, see, 1 on third carbon atom and 1 on fifth carbon atom. And tri indicates the number of hydroxyl group. Okay, if there were 2 hydroxyl group, we would have written di. But since there are 3, so we will write tri here. So this is a structure for 3,5 dimethyl hexane 1,3,5 triol. Now let's see the next example. It is 2,3 diethyl phenol. So see here, your phenol, that means it has 6 carbon atoms because it is an aromatic ring. So here it is the example of a phenol, that is a substituted phenol. And see, at second and third position there must be ethyl group attached. Since 2 ethyl group is attached, we are writing diethyl. So in this you will draw one phenol. See, this is a phenol. And on second and third position you will write 2 ethyl groups, that is C2H5. Because there are 2 ethyl groups, we are using the word di. Okay, and we did the numbering because this OH functional group it will get the first priority. So that is why we gave the first priority to this OH group. And then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this was an example of a substituted phenol, which is 2,3 diethyl phenol. Let's see the next one. 1-ethoxypropane. So ethoxypropane means it is an ether. So how we name the ether? Alkoxyalkane, where alkane must contain the longest carbon chain. So here propane is your parent chain that is containing the longest carbon chain. So if it is propane, that means 3 carbon atoms must be there. So propane is connected to the ethoxy group, and ethoxy group is OCH2CH3. Ethox means 2 carbon atoms are there. So the structure will be this. So this is your propane, which is a parent chain 1, 2, 3, and here is your alkoxy group attached. And in this case, alkoxy group is ethoxy. In ethoxy, there are 2 carbon atoms. And we will do the numbering like 1, 2, 3. So this is 1 ethoxy propane. Okay. Let us see the next one. 2 ethoxy 3 methyl pentane. Again, it is a ether. So whenever there is an example of a ether, first see what will be your longest carbon chain. That will become the alkane, and another group which is attached to the oxygen will become the alkoxy group. So see in this, it is pentane. That means your longest carbon chain is containing 5 carbon atoms. So see, 5 carbon chain with ethoxy group, which is at the second carbon, and methyl group is attached at the third carbon. So let's see the structure. So this is the structure. See, your longest carbon chain has 5 carbon atoms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And your alkoxy group is 2 ethoxy. So see, this is your 2 carbon atoms. This is your alkoxy group. And so this is a particular structure of 2 ethoxy 3 methyl pentane. There should be 1 methyl group at the third carbon. So 1 methyl group should be attached at this third carbon. So it will be 2 ethoxy 3 methyl pentane. Next one is cyclohexyl methanol. So here it is a cyclohexane ring with CH2OH group that is attached to it. So whenever I told you, whenever a cycle is attached, we use the word cyclo. So see, this is a cyclohexane. Hexane means 6 carbon atoms. So this is a cyclohexane, and see here a methanol group is attached. So methanol means CH2OH. So this is a cyclohexyl methanol. Since it is a cycle, so we are using the word cyclo, and hexyl and methanol. Next is 3-cyclohexyl pentane 3-ol. So what will its structure look like? So there are 5 carbon atoms with both cyclohexyl and OH at the third carbon, because it is 3-ol. So hydroxyl group will be at the third carbon. And your pentane is the longest carbon chain, which we have selected as the parent alkane. So see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here a pentane is the parent carbon chain. And to the third position, a cyclic group is attached. That is cyclohexyl. Hexyl, 6 carbon atoms, and it is cyclic. So at third position, it is 3-cyclohexyl. And you will see that your hydroxyl group is attached to the third position. So it is 3-OH. Okay, at third position, a hydroxyl group is attached. So it is 3-cyclohexyl pentane 3-ol. Look at the next example. It is cyclopentane 3-in-1-ol. So here, your parent carbon chain must contain 5 carbon atoms, because it is pentane. Okay, and their ene is there. If there is ene, that means a double bond is there in the structure. And see, 3-ene is written. That means a double bond is at the third carbon atom. And on first carbon atom, a alcohol group must be there. A hydroxyl group, that is OH group, must be there. That is 1-ol. So if we will see the structure, this is a cyclopentane. So this is a cyclic structure. This cyclo words indicate that this is not a straight chain. This is a cyclic compound. So this is cyclopentane. It contains 5 carbon atoms. And on third position, there is one double bond. So see, at this third position, there is one double bond. And on first carbon, there is one hydroxyl group. So this is cyclopent 3-ene-1-ol. Remember, ene is there. It is an alkene. So a double bond will be there. If ine is there, YNE, that means a triple bond is there. The next is 4-chloro-3-ethyl-butane-1-ol. So here it is butane-1-ol. So your longest or your parent chain contains 4 carbon atoms. So 4 carbon chain, at fourth position there is a chloro group. Okay. On third position there is one ethyl group. So that ethyl group is at third carbon and chloro is at fourth carbon. And on first carbon there is one hydroxyl group is attached. So let's see the structure. So this is the structure. See, this is a parent chain, that is 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 carbon atoms are there. And see, in fourth position we have attached a chloro group. So on fourth there is a chloro group. On first carbon there is one hydroxyl group. And on third carbon there is one ethyl group, that is C2H5. Now because here it is ethyl, that is E, and here it is chloro, that is C. So I told alphabetically whichever letter comes first, we'll write it first. So C comes first, so that is why we wrote chloro first and then we wrote 3-ethyl. So 4-chloro-3-ethyl-butane-1-ol. Okay, so I hope now you can do it both ways. If names are given, you can draw the structure, and if structure is given, you can write the names. Just follow the IUPAC nomenclature, and while following it, you will get to know how we will write it. Now let us see another question, that is your NCERT exemplar question 2. Now the question is saying, how many alcohols with molecular formula C4H10O are chiral in nature? So a molecular formula is given to you and it is asked that among these, how many alcohols will be chiral in nature? So first we should know that what is chirality. Because when we know what is chirality, then only we will be able to know that which are chiral. So I am giving you 30 seconds to solve this question. You try and then we will discuss. Okay, let's see the solution. So the answer will be 1. Let us see how we have came upon this answer. So first, we should know what is a chiral carbon. So a chiral carbon is that carbon that contains 4 different groups. So if your carbon will contain 4 different groups, we will say it is a chiral carbon. That means all the 4 groups that are attached to that carbon should be different. So that will be a chiral carbon. So the structure is given to us C4H10O. So first, from this molecular formula, we will see how many structures are possible. Because from one molecular formula, more than one structures can be possible. So the molecular formula which is given to us, 4 structures of 4 alcohols are possible. So these are the 4 alcohols that is possible from this molecular formula. Look at first structure. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 carbon atoms are there. And your OH group is attached to first carbon atom. So it is butane-1-ol. Now look at this carbon. You can find any carbon is not chiral in this case. Because for chirality, it should be attached to 4 different groups. If you're looking at this particular carbon, this carbon, it is attached to two hydrogen, one hydroxyl group and one CH2 group. So this is not chiral because it is attached to two hydrogen and all the groups should be different. I said all the four different groups should be there. So in this case, two hydrogen is same. So in this, no carbon will be chiral. Now look at this structure. In this structure, we have attached the hydroxyl group to the second carbon. Now can you tell me that what this carbon to which a hydroxyl group is attached? It is a secondary, primary or tertiary carbon. Can you tell me? Now since this carbon is further attached to two other carbon, it is a secondary carbon. I told you if the carbon will be attached to only one carbon, it will be a primary. And if a carbon is attached to two other carbons, it will be a secondary. And if the carbon is attached to three other carbons, it will be a tertiary. So since it is attached to two other carbons, it is a secondary structure. So now see, this carbon over here will be a chiral carbon because it is attached to four different groups. See, one CH2 group, one hydroxyl group, one methyl group and one hydrogen. So hydrogen, CH2, OH and CH3, all groups are different. So this carbon will be a chiral carbon. And the structure is butane 2-ol because the carbon is attached to, because the hydroxyl group is attached to second carbon. So this is butane 2-ol. Now look at this particular structure. In this structure, this carbon is a tertiary carbon because it is further attached to three carbon atoms. One this and one this. So this is a tertiary carbon. So in this you will see that this carbon is not a chiral carbon because all these methyl groups to which this carbon is attached are same. These are not different. So this will not be a chiral carbon. So this is 2-methyl propane 2-ol. We will select this as a chain, parent chain, and on second position methyl group is attached and an hydroxyl group is attached. Now look at this structure. In this structure, there is also no chiral carbon. If you are looking at this carbon, then this carbon is also attached to two methyl groups. Both these groups are same. So in this also there is no chiral carbon. So only for this particular compound, there was a chiral carbon because in this particular compound, the carbon, the groups that is attached to this carbon are different. All the groups are different. So the answer says that no chiral carbon is present in this compound and this compound. So all these compounds are achiral compounds. Okay. And this butane 2-ol is this is a chiral compound because this carbon is chiral carbon. Whenever the carbon is chiral, we represent it like this. Okay. So this is a chiral compound. So in the question it was asked that how many alcohols with this molecular formula are chiral. So only this alcohol with the molecular formula butane 2-ol, which is the name of this compound, it is chiral. So the answer will be 1. So option A is correct, that is 1. I hope you understood that how we did this question. Now let us see one more question. That is an NCERT example question 12. Now it is asking phenol is less acidic than. So 4 options are given: ethanol, orthonitrophenol, methylphenol and orthomethoxyphenol. So you have to identify that among these 4 compounds which is less acidic than phenol. Phenol is less acidic than, you have to choose the correct option. So I am giving you 30 seconds, you try it and then we will discuss. Okay, let's see the solution. So the correct answer for this question is orthonitrophenol. Let's see how we did it. So first option was given to you as methanol. Methanol, it is an alcohol. So first let's compare the acidity of phenol and an alcohol. When I talk about alcohol and a phenol, I say that phenol is more acidic than alcohol. Okay. Now why phenol is more acidic than alcohol? This is because, now first, what is acidity if I say? In acidity we say that if it easily donates its H plus ions, it will be more acidic in nature. So the compound who will donate its H plus ion easily will be more acidic compound. So I said that phenols, they are more acidic than alcohols. Why? Because phenols, they donate their H plus ions more easily than alcohols. Now why it happens? Now look at the case of alcohol. If I'm talking about a simple alcohol, that is methanol, then in methanol there is CH3OH. Now because to oxygen, a methyl group is attached, which is donating in nature. That is, it donates its electron pair to the oxygen. Now since a methyl group is an electron donating group, it will donate the electron density to the oxygen. Now oxygen is already rich because methyl is donating the electrons to the oxygen. Now since because the oxygen is already rich, it will not feel the need to withdraw the electron density from the hydrogen because it is already rich. So if it is already rich, it will feel like not to take the shared pair of electrons from the hydrogen. So if it will not take the shared electrons from the hydrogen, so their bond will be a strong bond. So in that case, your alcohol will not easily donate your H plus ions. But when we talk in case of phenols, in phenols we know that on oxygen, your electron density is delocalized because of the resonance. So because of the resonance, the electron density on oxygen is not constant. So if it is not constant, the oxygen is not so rich in case of phenols. So if it is not rich, and we know that oxygen is electronegative, so it will take the shared pair of electrons from the hydrogen in phenol case. So if it will take the shared pair of electrons from the hydrogen, then in case of phenol, the hydrogen can leave easily. So because it can donate its H plus ion more easily than alcohols, so phenols are more acidic than alcohol. Okay, now let us discuss that first case of orthonitrophenol. Now we know that nitro is an electron withdrawing group. So if it is an electron withdrawing group, it will withdraw the electrons from the benzene ring because it has minus I effect also and minus M effect also. So it will withdraw the electron density from the benzene ring. So your OH bonds become more polar because if it is withdrawing the electron density from the benzene ring, the oxygen is not rich in this case. If it is not rich, being more electronegative, it will withdraw the electron density from the hydrogen. So oxygen will get a partial negative charge and hydrogen will get a partial positive charge. So their bond will become more polar. Okay, in case of orthonitrophenol. So acidity is higher than phenol. So if we talk about orthonitrophenol, so it is acidity is higher than phenols. So that is why your orthonitrophenol was the right answer, because it is asked phenol is less acidic than. That means in the 4 options you have to find which one is more acidic than phenol. Let us see the other options also. There were also 2 electron donating groups. So there was one methyl and one methoxy group in the options. Now what does your electron donating group do? They donate the electron density on the benzene ring. And when they donate the electron density on the benzene ring, then in this case your oxygen is becoming rich because there is electron density on the oxygen. Why? Because these groups are donating the electron density. So when oxygen is already rich in this case, it will not feel like to take this shared pair of electrons from the hydrogen. Because if it has sufficient electrons, it will not take. So in this case, your oxygen hydrogen bond is less polar. So if it is less polar, it will not donate it H plus easily. Okay, so the acidity becomes lower than phenol. And in case of alcohol, we discussed that your phenols are more acidic than alcohols. That means your alcohol is less acidic. As we discussed, because your alcohols don't donate easily H plus ions. Because oxygen has already its electron density from that alkyl group. So it doesn't feel like to take the hydrogen. It doesn't feel like to take the shared pair of electrons from the hydrogen. So if it is not taking the shared pair of electrons, their bond is less polar. So if the bond is less polar, it will not donate easily H plus ions. So in the case of ethanol, your phenoxide ions is more stable than the ethoxide. So if we are talking about case of phenols, then phenoxide ion is more stable because of the resonance in that case. Your resonance is stabilizing your phenoxide ion. And in ethoxide, there is no resonance because all are single bonds. There is no double bond. So your phenoxide ions will be more stable because of the resonance. So we can see the stability order. This is a phenoxide ion that when it will give its H plus, it will be O minus. So here your minus charge is stabilized by resonance. But here there is no resonance because all are single bond in this case. So this will be more stable. So we came to the conclusion that your orthonitrophenol is more acidic than phenols. Okay, why? Because there is an electron withdrawing group, and that electron withdrawing group will withdraw the electron density. So the oxygen has less electron density on it. So it will, being more electronegative, it will take its shared pair of electrons from the hydrogen. So their bond will become more polar, and if the bond will become more polar, it will give its H plus. So its acidity will become higher. So I hope this question is clear to you now. So let us summarize whatever we studied in today's lecture. So we saw the alcohols, phenols and ethers, they all have sp3 hybridized oxygen. Still their bond angles were different. In case of alcohols, the COH bond angles, because of lone pair repulsion on oxygen, the bond angle was less than the tetrahedral, than the ideal tetrahedral. In case of phenols, the hybridization of carbon is attached with OH. And in the case of phenols, there is a partial double bond character because of your resonating structures. So this is the case of alcohol, where bond angle is less than tetrahedral, and here it was slightly less than tetrahedral. So here there was lone pair repulsion also, and because of this bulky group, there was bond pair repulsion also. And the CO bond length order, we saw that it is higher in the case of alcohols than ethers than phenols. In phenols, because there is a partial double bond character, so their bond length is less because of the resonating structures. But in ethers and alcohols, there were all single bonds. There was no resonance and no resonating structures. So that is why your phenols will have the least CO bond length, and alcohol will have the highest, and ether will be in the middle. So I hope today's lecture is clear to you. So thank you, student, for attending the lecture. I hope your concepts are clear now.